I'm in an area that is surrounded by luxury, but we're just down-home grassroots people in my neighborhood. We're pretty self-sufficient, but we still need grants and outside resources to help us build the community.
Hi, I'm Sarah O'Carroll, the city's program lead at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and this is Cleveland, Ohio. A great example of a city redesigning systems to eliminate waste and pollution, create jobs, support local businesses, and drive workforce development. But how did they do it? In the late 2000s, Cleveland found itself at the epicenter of the US subprime mortgage crisis. Once an industrial powerhouse, its manufacturing base shrunk, its population dropped from 1 million people to 300,000, and the city was left with thousands of vacant lots.
I was concerned about where Cleveland was headed, and the projection back then was that 10,000 homes would be demolished as a result of the foreclosure crisis. Turns out that it was 18,000 that were demolished. At the end of the report, I simply asked the question, what are we going to do with all this vacant land in Cleveland? Yeah, we're going to start an urban farm. We kind of put our heads together and launched, went to the city of Cleveland and said we wanted 2 acres of contiguous vacant land. And they kind of chuckled and said, there's lots of vacant land, but 2 acres of contiguous land is almost impossible. And they said, but there is a place. It's known as Forgotten Triangle. It was certainly one of the hot spots for illegal dumping in the city. And when we first came here, there were vacant houses on the street that had squatters living in them. We worked with the county illegal dumping task force and unearthed over 2,000 tires, burned out cars, refrigerators, washers and dryers. All of that had to be removed. And the rest is history. We've grown from that initial 1.3 acre lot to now an 18-acre campus, we like to call it. So we're quite proud of how far we've come.
While some initiatives, such as Riddle, were already in place to rebuild the city's neighborhoods, in 2020, a grant from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation enabled and supported the launch of Circular Cleveland and brought all of these initiatives together. Circular Cleveland's projects aren't just tackling environmental issues, they're revitalizing neighborhoods too. By greening urban spaces, supporting local production, and transforming vacant lots into vibrant community areas, they're helping to create thriving, livable, and resilient neighborhoods.
We have 22 different income streams at Riddle. We thought about every single way we can make $1. We can charge for tours. We can partner with schools for education programs. We run our own 5-month commercial urban agriculture program. We charge tipping fees for our compost. We sell our compost. We sell fish. We have a restaurant. We cater for the restaurant. We buy and sell trees at our tree nursery. We have a farmer's market. So all of those are really not to be over ambitious, but really to ensure that there's enough income streams to help us to sustain the organization. Now, I will tell you the farmer's market, as well as the restaurant, were game changers because it's weekly cash flow. So it's not like waiting until you grow and then you can harvest and it's going to be a great month in September when we harvest all this fruit. No, every single week there's money coming in both of those organizations or entities, which really helps us with cash flow.
But what's driving the success of Riddle and Cleveland's other circular economy projects? Kathy Len from the City of Cleveland and Divya Sridhar from Cleveland Neighborhood Progress explain.
Well, all cities, just like the city of Cleveland, are major contributors to get greenhouse gas emissions. And that's true for all cities. It's also true for all cities that we have a lot of resources, which also offer opportunities, because we don't always value the resources that we have. For a circular economy to be truly circular is we need to bring in those innovators. We need creative minds. And so we need to support those innovative creations.
So when Robert Wood Johnson Foundation announced their Climate Health and Equity Grant, this was a perfect opportunity for us to think out of the box. The grant was a partnership in two phases, as we wrote it, between the City of Cleveland, Cleveland Neighborhood Progress. The other cool thing that came out of this was a roadmap for all of City of Cleveland and its stakeholders, which is the built environment, the manufacturing sector, community, and into 2 or 3 different ways. So it's sort of an exciting moment. It's a catch-all. So progress is slow, and we keep moving towards together. But it's been a very exciting process, and we're here today. Can a project like this begin to see or shine light on those people who've been doing this for a long time and allow them to participate in a way that they have not participated before formally?
We have a dedicated staff of 16 that have been here, most of them from the beginning. What I like to say, when you talk about commitment for these kinds of projects, everyone was here when the money wasn't flowing, and they came and did the work anyway in hopes that someday things would get better. So things got better, and they were able to then be placed on the payroll. We have a 5-month commercial urban agriculture training program that we've run for 11 years. We've had over 800 people go through that training from 9 different states. So we are proselytizing the importance and the beauty of urban farming and what it can mean for communities. We are on the front line of trying to figure out things like environmental stewardship, carbon sequestration, urban agriculture, urban forestry. I mean, we're having all those conversations with the other key partners, which improves our environment and improves, we believe, even job opportunities for Clevelanders. So we really say we're a closed loop, system that we're able to leverage all the things that Red All is doing and connect them back to each other so that they're interdependent and really keeping that flywheel spinning.
I think one of the last wins is how we've empowered our residents and small businesses that have already been practicing the circular economy, but now we're able to bring them into a bigger initiative.
So we launched a Circular Cleveland Ambassador Program. In this program, we had, to start off, 10 ambassadors, each of them bringing in their passion, their affinity networks, representing their neighborhoods, and representing who they were and why they were in for this.
One of those Circular Cleveland ambassadors is Christy Fan, an absolute tour de force. It is well documented that people come to Christy to solve any neighborhood problem.
There's no such thing as something that can't be reused. So we bought used bikes for the neighborhood. I think we bought 20 bikes, and we taught the youth in the neighborhood how to repair bikes. I would say about my neighborhood stockyard, it was circular before the movement started because it was a survival tool. Our logo is neighbors helping neighbors. So if they have a problem that they don't want to solve or they need help on, they're going to come to the block club for a solution. They're going to call the block club before they call the City of Cleveland. Once a month, we have a fix-it clinic, and you could bring anything broken, and we will try to repair it at no cost to you to keep it out the landfill. I wish that we could get services that we pay for as taxpayers in our community, and we can take our grant money and beautify the community.
I would like to think that Cleveland is going to be a leader. When we have updated our climate action plan and our municipal action plan, citing the circular economy throughout and having many of our actions as practices of the circular economy. And one way we are sharing our successes and our lessons learned with other cities is through a new network called the Circular Cities Network that's being coordinated by Circular Philadelphia. I know I recently went to a circularity conference in Chicago, and met with, 2,000 professionals all talking about the circular economy. It was a fantastic event. But there we met Circular Austin, Circular San Antonio, Circular Seattle, Circular Phoenix. So we're definitely not alone in this, which is fantastic because we can all learn from each other.
Not many communities can say all those, governmental entities and grassroots entities and even some funders and corporations are all really focused on how do we make this circular economy work and what can we do. And when we ask them for help doing that, they pretty much respond and they're eager to do it. So we're proud to have such great partners that believe in this circular economy and why it's important and how it can make a difference in our community. So if we care about it and we're going to push hard to make it happen and our partners feel the same, we think we can't lose. And that's going to make Cleveland a national model, if not an international model.
This is just a glimpse of Cleveland's progress. The city is not just an example for US cities, but one I hope can inspire cities around the world. They're setting a global example with an inclusive, community-driven approach to circular development, creating a model of a just transition. In Cleveland, community members have a voice in decision-making, and the benefits of circular thinking flow back into neighborhoods. Cleveland is a city building a thriving local economy, improving quality of life for its residents, and protecting the planet, all through the power of circular thinking.